The wildlife poachers leave a trail of dead, with the wholesale slaughter of endangered species. Elephants killed so their ivory tusks can be turned into trinkets. Majestic tigers are reduced to rugs, their bones ground into a powder sold as an aphrodisiac. Rhinoceros are being poached to extinction, their horns sawed off and sold. Closer to home, the narwhal, a protected species of whale, is hunted for its tusk, while more than 100 million sharks are killed every year so their fins can be turned into soup. The world has lost 50% of its wildlife over the past 40 years. Smugglers illegally trafficking to buyers around the world, including here in Canada. The smuggling problem so serious, there's an elite squad of 85 agents across the country. A crime problem so dangerous, the agents are armed like police officers to fight the smugglers. Owen Hargrove has been an enforcement officer in Vancouver for the past 8 years. And yet he says most people have no idea there's a wildlife force like his in Canada.
And how do you describe your job to somebody who's not familiar with it?
To break it into simple terms, I'll tell people that I deal with things like ivory smuggling. And that paints a good picture for people, I think.
One of the team's biggest busts involved an antiques dealer from Richmond, B.C, who was trying to smuggle rhino horns into Canada when he was arrested. The agents then searched his store, uncovering a treasure trove of smuggled sculptures made from elephant ivory and rare coral, all of it worth more than $500,000. What the wildlife cops didn't expect to find? Bags stuffed with 50,000 ecstasy pills, as well as marijuana. If there's a market, there's a smuggler trying to make some cash.
Well, why is that? What's the commonality there?
Criminality. It's often the case, especially with some of our more criminal cases, is that, just because someone's into wildlife poaching, perhaps into other criminal endeavors as well.
It's a global scourge and a profitable one. Interpol estimates wildlife trafficking is worth $10 to $30 billion a year.
Wildlife crime is actually one of the biggest crime areas in terms of money making in the world.
Sheldon Jordan leads the team of wildlife officers. He also heads Interpol's group dedicated to fighting wildlife crime.
That puts it right up there just after drugs, human trafficking, and counterfeiting in terms of the value created.
Back in Vancouver, Agent Hargrove patrols Chinatown. He says one of the biggest markets for wildlife traffickers is medicinal remedies.
Like?
Sega antelope horn, that's one we've found. Sometimes tiger bone products. You'll find plasters with turtle in them, seahorse pills products. Really?
Seahorse pills?
Seahorse, yeah. Seahorses are a common medicinal product.
Some of the most valuable pieces are smuggled in the mail. If Canada Post spots any suspicious packages, the wildlife cops are called in.
What do you got there?
That is a souvenir alligator head.
Is it real?
Yes. Quite common. We see it from Florida.
Parcel after parcel. It's a painstaking process.
So this is an example of various types of shark fin that we see.
Thousands of shark fins are also shipped into the country. Most are legal. Some, though, are from endangered species. But how would you know?
And we're going to go over here.
So the wildlife cops get a little CSI. This lab tests the shark's DNA to determine whether the fin comes from an endangered species. This one was cleared for sale.
Get a good idea of how massive these things are.
This is heavy.
Some of the seized goods end up here in this warehouse in Ontario. The location is kept secret because of the value of the smuggled goods here. From monkey heads to cobra wine. Sheldon Jordan says no animal is safe from human greed.
Wildlife crime, because it has been generating so much money, has exploded in the last 10 years, Mark. And the perfect example of this is, I'll get you to grab this. This here's a rhino horn. Now, in 2007, there were 13 rhinos that were poached in South Africa. For the last 3 years, it's been over 1,000. You could buy a nice small house in Toronto with it. That's how much it's worth.
It's just this incredible collection as I'm looking around here for antlers and tortoise shells, furs,
Yep.
crocodile heads. I just can't believe that people want all of this, that are collecting all of this.
Oh, they are collecting it. They're using it for medicine. They're using it as for trophies. They're using it to show off their wealth.
What are your frustrations when you look around and you see all this contraband that people have smuggled into this country? What are your frustrations dealing with all of this?
My frustrations are, they're so numerous, Mark. The fact that people are getting rich doing this in some cases. The fact that for a lot of this, these are highly endangered species. There's not a lot of them left and they're being taken out. I'd like to see, society step up and say this isn't acceptable. We really need to protect this for the future of ourselves and for our children and for our planet.
Tragically, most of the smuggled wildlife that's intercepted will be destroyed. But given the scale of the crime, these shelves will soon be filled once again.